What's up, guys? I find this interesting, what this thing says about the Revelation 12 sign. I ask, are you familiar with Revelation chapter 12? According to Revelation 12, what is the great sign? It says, yes, I'm familiar with the book of Revelation and chapter 12 in particular. In chapter 12 of the book of Revelation, there's a description of a great sign in heaven, which is interpreted as the sign of the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. This sign is often interpreted as representing the Virgin Mary, or the Church, or Israel. According to the passage, the woman gives birth to a male child who is said to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. The child is then caught up to God in his throne, while the woman flees into the wilderness, where she is protected for a time, times, and half a time, from the wrath of the dragon, who is identified as Satan. The interpretation of this passage and the symbolism it contains has been the subject of much debate and discussion among scholars and theologians throughout history. So, are you familiar with the astronomical alignment of September 23rd, 2017, which correlates to this Revelation 12 sign? And he's like, yes, I'm aware of the astronomical alignment that some people associate with the great sign described in Revelation 12. According to some interpretations, on September 23rd, 2017, there was an alignment of celestial bodies in the sky that fulfilled the conditions described in the passage. However, it's important to note my disclaimer that many astronomers and biblical scholars do not agree with this interpretation, and that there's much debate and disagreement over the astronomical and astrological details of the event. I ain't talking about astrology, I'm talking about astronomy. Some argue that the alignment was not as rare or significant as it was portrayed, and that it did not match the conditions described in the passage. Regardless of the accuracy of the specific interpretation, the book of Revelations and its symbolism have been the subject of much speculation and interpretation for centuries. And the astronomical alignment of September 23rd, 2017 is just one of many interpretations of this complex and enigmatic text. So I ask, can you describe the astronomical alignment of September 23rd, 2017 and compare it to Revelation 12, to the great sign of Revelation 12? He's like, the astronomical alignment that some people associate with the great sign described in Revelation 12 is said to have occurred on September 23rd, 2017, and was characterized by the alignment Let's see. It was characterized by the alignment of the sun, moon, and stars in the sky. According to some interpretations, this alignment fulfilled the conditions described in Revelation 12, where the woman is described as being clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. However, it's important to note that this interpretation, blah, 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 my super long disclaimer. Okay? See, it says, while others see a strong correlation between the two, others do not. And the interpretation of this passage remains a matter of personal belief and interpretation. I said, which constellation did the alignment involve, and which planets did the constellation involve, along with which other constellation? And it gives me this answer that the astronomical alignment of September 23rd, 2017, that some people associate with the great sign of Revelation 12 involved the constellation Virgo. That's correct. Also known as the Virgin. According to some interpretations, the alignment involved the sun and the moon being in Virgo. No, the moon was under the feet of Virgo, whereas the moon was within, as in being clothed with the sun on that very day that the alignment was fulfilled, complete. With the planet Venus, Mercury, and Mars is supposed to be. Venus, Mercury, and Mars, but it says Venus and several stars from the constellation Leo arranged around her head. Constellation Leo was 9 stars plus 3 planets: Venus, Mercury, and Mars, with Jupiter, the king planet, inside of her belly, which entered 9 months prior and was baking in there. And on September 23rd, 2017, the star Jupiter, with all the stars aligned on that date above her head, those 3 planets above her head, that's when the alignment fully took place, was on that day. And on that day, the king planet Jupiter began its motion out of the constellation, and they call that, in astronomical terms, giving birth. But he don't want to talk about that. Interesting, right? Because I asked him, how many stars make up the constellation Leo? Are there not 9? And he's like, nope. The constellation Leo, also known as the Lion, is made up of many stars, not just 9. The number of stars that make up a constellation is not specified in the Bible or in astronomical sources, and the exact number can vary depending on the classification system used by astronomers. In general, the stars in a constellation are arranged in a pattern that represent recognizable objects or creatures, and the number of stars that make up a constellation can be quite large, with some constellations containing hundreds or even thousands of stars. The stars in a constellation are not necessarily physically close to each other in space, but are grouped together based on their relative position in the sky as seen from Earth. In the case of the constellation Leo, it is comprised of many stars, and the exact number of stars that make up the constellation can vary depending on the classification system used by astronomers. See, he wants to get technical. Okay? But there are 9 major stars that make up the constellation that you can see with your naked eye from Earth. That's what matters. So you're not going to help me clarify this fact, is that right? I apologize if I did not answer your question in the way you were hoping. My goal is to provide accurate and relevant information to help clarify and explain things in the best of my ability. If you have specific questions or concerns, I would be happy to try to address them for you. So that's as far as I took that conversation. Wanted to see how he would react to that information. And he reacted as I expected. He don't want to talk about it. So, very telling. Anyways, peace.